What are KPIs? KPIs are key performance indicators. They are the tools that you can use to measure your success and progress in your business, in your startup, in anything in life. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. Famous words by Lord Kevin. I do not know who that is, but he was smart because that's true. The issue is there are so many KPIs, and if you've watched any videos, read any articles, you know there are so many different KPIs for your SaaS and your business that you can measure.
CVR, CAC, LTV, MRR, CLV.
How do you know where to start? What is actually useful? This is what we're here for today. Today I'm going to go over 5 different KPIs that if I was just getting started, these are the things I would focus on to actually move the needle and create success in my business. You don't need to measure everything, start with only these 5. And in fact, these are the 5 that we are still focusing on today. Granted, we've added a few more along the years as we grow, but these are the most important ones if you really want to make sure you know the entire funnel of your business and where your weak points are. But before we get started with the actual content of the video, I have an exciting announcement to make. This video includes a giveaway! So we have decided that for this month, each video we make will contain a giveaway of a 30-minute meeting with either me or Eric for a consultation for your business and your startup that you want to create. We take paid calls through Clarity, but we want to offer you guys a free opportunity to do a consultation call with us.
Oh my God! Wow!
We are such a small channel, you actually have a pretty high chance at winning this giveaway. All you have to do for a chance to win is to keep watching. I will tell you later in the video. So the first metric to measure is CVR, conversion rate. This is something that is relevant for any type of business, whether it is a SaaS business, a startup, an e-commerce store, a physical store. And what is conversion rate exactly? How do we measure it? Conversion rate is the percentage of your leads that end up converting. For example, out of all of the people that land in your store, the percentage of people who actually end up completing a purchase. In SaaS, it might be out of all the people who view my landing page, the percentage of people who end up signing up to my service and adding their credit card. Some people measure conversion rate only for paid customers, and some treat all of the customers, paid or free, as converted users. I personally like to treat all of my customers as converted users, so my conversion rate includes both the paid and the free users. But that is because how my SaaS pricing is structured. A free user can easily become a paid customer if their business grows, in my case. So it makes sense to count it like that. But I do have the tools to segment them and see out of all of my converted users, how many are paid and how many are free. If in your case, being a free user is part of their conversion funnel, then it makes sense that you would still treat them as leads and only treat the ones who end up paying as converted users. We can get more into that in a separate video if you want, because this includes reference to pricing, how you price your product. We have a few videos on that. We'll link one of them up here. But if you want to get more in depth, let us know in the comments, whatever questions you have. So what do you do with conversion rate? How do you actually treat this metric? If it is high, good job. High conversion rate is good. It means that a high percentage of the people who view your landing page, emails, whatever, actually end up converting. If it is low, you need to work on conversion optimization of your funnel, of your landing page. It could be your call to actions. How easy is it from the landing page to actually sign up? It could be the sign up process. Maybe it is too complicated, you require too many details, it's not clear enough, so people are dropping off. It could be your pricing. A really good best practice is to offer a free trial so that people can try out your product before they commit to actually paying you. And it could also be your messaging. Is it messy? Is the English not that good? Is the website super busy on the eyes and confusing? There are a lot of things that could affect that, but this is the area that you should look at. So as promised in the beginning, we are going to take this through the funnel. Let's say you've figured out your conversion rate. The next step is to talk about retention. Retention is the percentage of your converted customers that you return through a specific period of time. It could be a month, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. The opposite of retention is churn. Churn is, well, the opposite of retention. It's the percentage of users that end up leaving. Now, there is same day churn, there is same week churn. It really depends on the period of time you choose to look at. So as I said, assuming your conversion rate is good, you are converting enough customers to actually measure retention, it is now time to see, are they staying with you for the long term or are they leaving very quickly? If your retention is high, your product is basically a strainer. People are coming in and getting out at the same rate. And that is a huge problem. Retention is super important to any business model, especially if it is a subscription-based, recurring payment model. Because if people are signing up and then leaving before they had the chance to pay, or only pay once and then leave, you don't have a sustainable business. So retention is one of the most important metrics. Of course, we cannot work on it before we have acquisition, which is the conversion rate. You get it. So what do we do if our retention is super low, if our churn is high? What could cause it? Actually, the reason is probably that you are not a product market fit. That means that there must be some features that are missing for your customers or major bugs that you might not be aware of. So the best way to figure it out is talk to your customers. Ask them why they left, what they were missing, and were there any bugs. You can do that through emails like post account deletion emails, or you can do that through a support live chat widget if they have any issues. Find ways to communicate with them. It can either be an automatic thing, a survey, or if you're first starting out and you have the time and the capacity, reach out to them personally and ask. Communicate with your customers. Learn them, know what they actually want. Of course, you will not add any customer request, but if you see a trend, if you talk to enough customers and you see that there's a trend, this is the reason that a lot of people are leaving, maybe add it to the roadmap, like up the priority of this specific feature. Another thing to check here is pricing. Again, if you talk to your customers, they might let you know, but is your pricing too expensive for your customers, or is it built in a way where they think it doesn't make sense? Your pricing should be directly impacted by the value you give. The more value you give, the more they pay. Also, what is their price sensitivity? It really depends on your niche, on your business, but you want to make sure that your pricing is not the reason they leave. The customers that don't have enough money can still use your product. So if your retention is high and your churn is low, that is awesome. Good job. Now you can start focusing on profitability and revenue. The next metric is CPA and CAC. These both mean the same thing. CPA is cost per acquisition and CAC is customer acquisition cost. A little confusing, but basically they just mean how much does it cost you to acquire a new customer. Does it cost a lot? Does it not? This metric with the next one will help you actually measure profitability and not just revenue. So let's say you are only doing paid advertising. If you're only doing paid advertising, how much does each customer you actually acquire cost you? This is very, very important to know because without it, you will have a lot of difficulties creating profitable ads. So if you have a high CPA, that means that each customer you acquire costs you a lot of money. How do you fix it? How do you take care of it? The first question you need to ask yourself, is it too much money? Is this customer costing more money than they are giving me back? What I would recommend here is to really look at your acquisition funnel. Where does it start? Does it start with paid advertising? If the answer is yes, there are a few things you can do. A is optimize your existing ad platforms, whatever you run ads on, and make sure that you get as cheap clicks as possible. And B is to actually look into other avenues of paid advertising. For example, Reddit, Bing, places where people maybe don't advertise as much tend to be cheaper. Also look at specific niche websites for your niche and see if you can advertise there. It would probably be cheaper or at least more targeted, so your cost per acquisition would drop. Of course, another way to go is organic advertising. Do SEO, do content like YouTube, do affiliate marketing, email list. Email list is a really good asset for marketing. Some of these things take a little longer, so you would have to maybe work at them before you even launch your product so that you can use these assets when the product is launched. And if your CAC is low, awesome job, great. We can move on to talk about the fourth metric. But before we do, I promised you a giveaway. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. We are going to talk about the giveaway terms. So to win a 30-minute call with either me or Eric for consultation on your business, you have to do two things. A is subscribe to this channel, of course, if you haven't yet. What are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe. And second is comment on this video with what is the KPI that you are struggling with the most. It can be one of the 5 I'm talking about here, or it can be a completely separate one that I haven't mentioned. What is the KPI you are struggling with the most? Bonus points if you tell us a little bit about your business and what you're struggling with. But it's okay if you just write down the KPI too. So comment down below, we will announce the winner before the next video is launched. We will do it in the community tab, so again, you need to follow to find out. So the fourth metric that I have mentioned is LTV. LTV stands for lifetime value, and you would use it to measure the average lifetime value of an average customer. I've seen a lot of ways to measure LTV to be as accurate as possible. The easiest way to measure it is to take the average monthly revenue from a user times the average retention in assuming that you are working with a monthly payment. For example, let's say an average user pays me $5 a month and stays with me 3 months. Then my average LTV is $15 per user. When I know this number, I can see if my ads are actually profitable, because if it costs me $20 to acquire a customer, but the average customer only generates 15, then I'm losing money on my ads. So this is a really important metric to know. It's important not only as far as ads, but any kind of effort that you do. Once you know what an average user is worth for you monetarily, then you know what are the efforts that are worth it, where would you get a positive ROI. ROI is return on investment. We will not talk about this metric today. So if your LTV is low, what do? Well, I would experiment with pricing. This is where it gets a little bit nitty-gritty. You've already figured out all of the other metrics. You have good customer acquisition, you have good retention, and you don't pay too much to acquire a new customer. But your LTV is still low. That means that either they are leaving you too soon or they're not paying enough monthly. If they're leaving too soon, work on retention, the second metric we talked about. Go back in the video, I've talked about it then. But if they are staying with you for the long term and you're still not making enough money out of them monthly, then check where you can optimize pricing. Are some of your customers leaving too soon because the app is too expensive for them, but then some of them are just not paying enough? Optimize your pricing. There are a lot of tests you can do there. I would recommend A/B testing. This is a whole other topic we can talk about. If you want a video about A/B testing your pricing and pricing optimization, let us know in the comments. It's actually something we're still working on. Let me give you an example from our app Reconvert. In Reconvert, we have a free plan for up to 50 orders a month. So if you are a Shopify store making less than 50 orders a month, then you get Reconvert completely for free. At some point, we wanted to start optimizing our pricing. So we decided that one of the tests we would do is to lower the free plan to 10 orders a month. So if you are making less than 10 orders a month, the app will be free, otherwise you pay. And payment started at like $5. It's not like it's a huge amount if you have 11 orders a month. We wanted to see what would happen. Our hypothesis was that was a very difficult word to say, by the way, was that we saw a very quick decline in our conversion rate. This pricing affected our conversion rate, the very first metric. So after, I think, less than a week, we rolled it back to 50 orders a month and figured out that the place we need to optimize for pricing is at the mid and higher tiers of customers. The lower ones were more price sensitive, so we had to be very careful how we optimize pricing there. If your LTV is high, you're doing something right. Kudos to you. This means you've optimized well a lot of parts in your funnel. Now the next step is to look more big picture, and this is our fifth and last metric. The last metric is MRR and ARR. MRR is monthly recurring revenue and ARR is annual recurring revenue. This basically means how much money do you make a month and how much money do you make a year. This is revenue, not profit, but it is a first step to talk about profit. You have to know your revenue first. If these two are low, then you honestly need to look at all the metrics that I just mentioned. They all help you improve for your ARR and MRR. If these are low, look at your acquisition, retention, lifetime value, and see where you can improve, optimize according to the tactics that I've just mentioned. But if they are high, that is awesome. That is great. Next step is to actually start working on profitability, on lowering your costs and upping your revenue, the money that you generate. If you want me to make a video talking more about profitability, specifically the metrics that would help you measure it and how to improve it, let me know in the comments. We will definitely create one for you. So these are really good KPIs to get started with. But if you want to know more about SaaS KPIs, I recommend checking out this video that my brother created. It talks all about SaaS KPIs and gives you some more KPIs to look out for. And this is the video YouTube thinks you should watch. Choose one and I will see you in the next video.